Thank you, everyone, for being here today. It's absolutely fantastic to be with everyone. But before I begin, I want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. And I would like to pay respect to the land that we have shared with them for countless generations. I believe that it's critical that we show respect to Indigenous peoples, to acknowledge them for sharing their land with us, for their contributions, and recognize the role of the treaty in Ontario. Woo! Yay! Hundreds of years after the first treaties were signed, they are still relevant today. And we need to remember that. That is our base, and that is where we started from. And I want to welcome every single one of you to Kingston and Ontario, whether you are from the business community, an investor, an innovator, or one of the awesome visionaries of this wonderful event. Please, everyone, join me in giving all the organizers a round of applause. So to all the hardcore technology geeks out there, to the political and academic leaders, and of course, to our innovators, these are your finest hours. Welcome. So whether you're physically in Kingston or taking part online from around the world, this is your Breakout Project. Well done, everyone. This is so exciting. So here we are, after 2 thrilling days of hard work from our talented teams of entrepreneurs, our social innovators, our communicators, and artists. And thank you to everyone watching as well. This has been a celebration of entrepreneurial talent and spirit. It's been amazing to watch you work together online and to build awareness of your projects, to connect with all of the other attendees and speakers, and to muster support for your vision, all in 48 hours. Awesome. I know that you have probably all been under a lot of pressure, but I know you've also had a lot of fun, and there's more of it to come. You know, the astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson had a great quote about innovation, and please indulge me for a moment while I repeat it to you. He said that for most of human civilization, the pace of innovation has been so slow that a whole generation might pass before a discovery might influence our lives, our culture, or society. Those times are gone. I don't need to tell anyone that over the past 50 years, the rate of innovation and discovery has increased exponentially. This week, we're seeing a tiny microcosm, a sliver of that acceleration. These innovators have literally reached out to the whole world with big ideas for improving and shaping our world and our future. The innovations and technology of today would have been absolutely astounding a generation ago. That historical perspective is very important, because as we race into the future, it's critical to remember how we got here. What we're doing right here and right now is we are charting that path forward for the future together. We're building the future that we want to see, the future that we want to live in. And that's why I think it's so fitting that the Breakout Project is taking place right here in Kingston at historic Fort Henry. We are literally surrounded by walls that are steeped with stories, steeped with history. And it's so fitting that we launch, catapult in fact, into the innovation realm in this very place. For the people of Ontario and Canada, this is a special place and a very special time. We mark the 150th anniversary of our Confederation, a very significant milestone in our nation's history. This fort played a strategic role in our nation's history, and Kingston's central role as the first capital of the United Canadas. This 150th anniversary provides us with a chance to show our pride, to celebrate the remarkable journey that we've taken together, and an opportunity to invest in the people and communities that will help us write the next chapter of our story and shape the next 150 years. As part of the 150th anniversary commemorations, the Government of Ontario is supporting special events and initiatives to engage Ontarians of all ages. Everyone who is present and listening today should keep in mind as well that the Lieutenant Governor's Visionaries Prize will be awarded later this year, honoring young Ontarians who address challenges the province will face in the next 50 years. Similar to the Breakout Project, these future leaders will identify and present their solutions at live events, including right here in Kingston in September. What you are engaged in this 48 hours is a phenomenal example of how we will create strong economic, cultural, and social legacies through our Ontario 150th initiatives. We must support young Ontarians to interact, learn, and innovate with the best and the brightest, which is why we provided $600,000 to help create the Breakout Project. Woo! Yes! We supported the Breakout Project to find solutions to important global issues that impact us all. We're proud to partner with the City of Kingston and all of the Breakout partners in this area, so thank you, City of Kingston. Every single day, I see Kingston live up to its motto, where history and innovation thrive. With our history, natural beauty, and cultural life, Kingston is known as one of the best places to live in Canada. Last month, the Financial Times recognized Kingston as #1 on a, yes, woo! on a list of small North American cities of the future for foreign direct investment. Kingston has worked very hard to successfully attract foreign investors, including major investors from China and Portugal. Companies from all around the world, in fact, are bringing their businesses to Kingston because we know how to welcome the future. It's a place known for fostering talent, skills, and creativity. It's a city with a vision for growth and innovation and a goal of being Canada's most sustainable city. But outside of the work that is done by any level of government, I always believe that it's the human infrastructure that makes it work. It's the work of people in our community that have transformed Kingston area into one of our province's technological hubs, creating new jobs and strengthening our economy. Technology and globalization are rapidly reshaping the global economy, and this is how Ontario will compete in the future. We will not compete in a race to the bottom with low-paying jobs, making the cheapest possible widgets and selling them on the international market. Plus, who wants to anyway? We are building the future that we want to live in tomorrow by building the technology, the infrastructure, and the kind of society that we want for today and for tomorrow. We need to strive to build the kind of society that looks after the most vulnerable, that nourishes Mother Earth, that acknowledges and combats climate change, and most importantly, that gives people hope. Our Business Growth Initiative has committed $400 million over the next 5 years to make sure Ontario's highly skilled workforce can compete through innovation. Remember that figure. It's a lot of money. $400 million over the next 5 years. Remember and apply for it. Be on the edge of your industries. Be part of making Ontario the greatest possible place that it can be. Plain and simply, innovation is part of our government's ambitious and proactive agenda for success. I truly believe, and I see evidence every single day in this role, that we are a government who is making a genuine, positive difference in people's lives. That's why innovation is so important. Innovation delivers the future. And that's why we're pleased to be part of the Breakout Project. Before my conclusion, I want to leave you with a personal story, and one that relates back to that human infrastructure, or what I like to call the power within. A whole bunch of years ago, way too many more than I'd like to remember, when I was 24 years old, after being a single mother for years, I had an opportunity to buy my own business. It was a 35-year-old flower shop in Toronto that didn't have a stellar reputation, but it was okay. However impulsive I might have been in those years, I thought very carefully about the decision to buy this business or not. I consulted far and wide. I asked everyone that I knew what they thought about the idea. I deliberated on every last detail, what there was, what I should be considering about buying this business. What if the neighborhood where the business was located was not sufficient to carry it in accordance to the vision that I had? What if I borrowed the money to purchase the business and it went under? What would it do to my family, to my daughter's life and her future? In the many conversations that I had at the time, one of the people whose opinion I sought was that of my brother-in-law-to-be. He and his wife had 2 very young children who had successfully extricated themselves from 15 years in Scientology. Now, before I go on, you're probably thinking, why would you consult with somebody who spent 15 years in Scientology? Think about it for a moment. They were older hippies, they had 2 small children, and no work history for 15 years. So what Gary did was he identified a problem, and he realized that homes would be converting to natural gas heating from oil at a fast and furious pace, and they would need to convert their furnaces and chimneys to accommodate it. So what are you going to do? You're older, you have a wife, you have to support a family, and in desperation, he went to a house, knocked on the door, and sold his first job. When he left that house, he thought, okay, I don't know what to do now. How do I do chimney liners? How do I find out about that? He left the house, he went to the library, and he learned how to do it. He taught himself how to change a chimney liner. So over the years, he built himself and his family a multi-million-dollar business that now supports not only his own family, but his children's families and many of his employees. So what's the connection? Why are we talking about this here and now? My ex-brother-in-law, who I still love to bits, heard me when I was talking about starting that small business. He heard me mount up the reasons why I shouldn't do it. His advice to me then, and the motto that has guided me ever since, was not to focus on why something is difficult and challenging, but to find the solutions. So no matter how big or small the problem, no matter how complex the solution, insist on seeing yourself as part of the solution. Cast aside what can be perceived as a cloak of safety that so often surrounds us, and never be afraid of tackling the problems of the day. So let the Breakout Project strengthen your resolve to be that change that you want to see in the world, and let it nurture the ability for us to utter fewer words and replace them with more action. Less greed and more giving. Less worry and more caring. Less anger, more laughter. Less hate and more love. Let the world that you have in the past couple of days never stop inspiring you. Never underestimate yourself or consider any single challenge or problem to be too large where you cannot make a difference. You can do it. So in conclusion, my friends, and on behalf of the Ontario government and the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport, Eleanor McMahon, I want to thank the participants, the speakers, the panelists, the musicians, every single one of the people who are here in attendance today, and every single one of you who are out there online, whether or not you are in Saudi Arabia, UK, Bangladesh, Netherlands, Tanzania, Norway, Uganda, Pakistan, Senegal, no matter where you are, we know you're out there. The Breakout Project organizers, and in particular, wherever you are, Grant Goodwin, yes, let's hear it for Grant. For all the envisioning, creating, and staging this wonderful event, thank you. And of course, to our teams taking part in this inaugural event, let me repeat, inaugural Breakout Project. This is just the beginning. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful Breakout Project. Merci beaucoup, miigwech.
Hi, I'm Amber Mack, and if you like this video, click to subscribe to the Breakout Project channel to watch more videos just like this one.